As I continue to watch the fallout from that Ukrainian strike on the Russian airfields, something has become very obvious. That phone call yesterday between Trump and Putin, I've done some research here. It wasn't scheduled. That was Putin calling Trump and flat out asking him, did you know? Did you know about this? The reason that's important is because if Trump knew about this would be viewed by the Russians as a strategic attack by the United States and NATO on their nuclear deterrence. We are in incredibly dangerous waters right now, everybody. I don't think anyone really realizes the consequences of that strike. And like I said in my previous video, those are valid targets. If you're the Ukrainians, those are valid targets. They absolutely deserve to be struck if you're in a war situation with them. That said, for the United States, the implications are actually quite profound. Quite profound. And for NATO. The Russian response is going to be decisive. Again, it's hard to say the Ukrainians didn't do something that they should have done. They absolutely had every right to strike those targets. Those targets are striking targets in your country. You're in a war situation. So to them, who cares what the implications are for the United States? These people are shooting Kimzal missiles at us and dropping glide bombs. Well, it's really becoming clear that their goals and our goals do not match in any way whatsoever. Now, of course, you got to have sympathy for a country being invaded by another one. The circumstances, however, there's no good guys here. And this strike and that phone call, people are really not getting that phone call. And you're starting to see online a lot of Ukrainian simps out there saying, oh, the Russians don't have the guts to respond. What are the Russians going to, we really did blah, blah, blah. That's a military secret operation. Guys, as valid as the target that was, on the bigger picture, you're really risking something here. I have never thought that this would go nuclear in any way. It's Ukraine. The Russians can take them. However, as I said in that previous video, the Russians are being put in a use it or lose it situation. This wasn't the first strike on nuclear assets. The Ukrainians also struck their early warning radars last year, almost a year to the day. This is another reason why you'd almost have to see this as a message if you're the Russians. A year ago, you struck our early warning radar sites. And a year later, almost to the day, you strike our nuclear bomber force. I think the goal is to have a nuclear weapon used. I think that's what Ukraine wants. I think they're starting to understand that the only way the West is ever going to get involved is if a nuclear weapon is used. Don't be surprised if there's another attack on a strategic target. I won't be surprised by it. And the thing is, there's no guarantee the West will come in. I don't want us to get in there. Yes, even if a nuke is used. I follow the chain of events. I can see what's happening. Dangerous times. Very dangerous times. Very dangerous times. I don't know what the response will be by the Russians. My guess is that it's going to involve the taking of vast swaths of territory very quickly. Don't be surprised if the leadership of Ukraine now is a target as well. If I'm Zelensky, I'd be worried. If I'm his intelligence chief, you better make sure that you have all of your next of kin in your will in order. I think there's an Iskander that's going to have your name on it. Very dangerous, guys. I really don't think the world is quite appreciating the scope of this, other than from the Ukrainian point of view. Which, again, a daring attack against valid targets. That said, the implications, they're huge. And getting back to that phone call, it was said to be about an hour and 10 minutes long. When you take into account the interpreter, that's not very long, guys. That's not a long phone call. That's Putin essentially calling and saying, Donald, did you know? Did you know about this? And the president says he didn't. I'm going to take him at his word. That said, there's no way that U.S. intelligence didn't know about this. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if Donald, in the phone call, mentioned, I've got my own problems with my own intelligence agencies. The implications of this are huge on multiple levels. If the president didn't know, then why didn't he know? If the intelligence agencies didn't know and didn't tell the president, we got a problem. If the U.S. intelligence agencies didn't know that the Ukrainians were doing this, what the hell are we paying for? How good is our intelligence then? This phone call is a lot deeper and means a lot more than people think. It really does. This was an impromptu phone call. The Donald woke up and was told, sir, we've got Putin on line 1. And why the hell would they help us with Iran, by the way? What a dumbass thing that is. To think that they're going to help us now with Iran? Why? Why would you help? There's no incentive whatsoever for me to help if I'm Russia. In fact, the incentive is we need to link arms. All of the adversaries against you need to link arms. We need to stay together. We need to stay tight. The last thing we need to do is separate. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea. I'm working on a story about North Korea, about the Korean policy and its failure. That's an upcoming video. Found a great piece in Foreign Affairs about that. I want to make sure to go through that with you guys. But as the fallout continues, I just wanted to do a quick video saying that phone call means a lot more than people are judging it for. That was important. It was impromptu. It was unscheduled. The Donald woke up and, sir, we have Putin on line 1. Okay. And it was a very brief call. An hour and 15 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, including interpreter time. That's nothing. That's nothing. First question I bet out of Putin's mouth. Did you know? Because according to treaty, they've got to have those aircraft out on the ramp so they can be seen by our satellites. And that fact, I'm sure, was utilized by the Ukrainians. As it should have been, if that's going to be your target. But that's all I got. driving along here, going about my day. You guys have a great day. If you liked the video, hit like, share it with a friend, subscribe, let people know. That phone call, it wasn't scheduled, and it's a big deal.